Welcome to the Revenue Accelerator. I didn't tell her I was recording, and I did. I have my guest today, Dana Moore, who is just phenomenal. Now, I'm going to do what I do, which is let her introduce herself, and then we are going to dive in to systems and spirit.
Ooh, systems and spirit. I love it because that is what I do. Hi there, my name is Dana Moore, and I am a business Reiki Master. Reiki is an ancient Japanese technique for stress reduction and relaxation that promotes healing mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And I help my clients who tend to be small businesses, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, to feel spiritually grounded as they create systems and structures to grow their business and maintain a sense of limitless possibility as we do that. I do that through team building, through one-on-one strategic planning, as well as intuitive counseling.
Yes, I love it. So I have actually met Dana in person, and as you could see when she was reading, I was kind of like zenning out, and that is her entire energy, is to get you into that really grounded and fierce, like confident state of being, which is not, tiptoeing into, it's not in the masculine, it's not in the feminine, it's just in that space where you show up as your best version, which I love because it's, there's people out there, whether they stand really in their masculine or stand really in their feminine, it doesn't matter, but they push you towards one or the other. Whereas you really just meet people where they're at, and you're very understanding as to you are in the situation that you're in, and are you choosing to be in that next level? And it's just not often that you get to meet people like that. So what do you see as something that demonstrates to you that someone is ready to kind of evolve in their business and in themselves?
Ironically, it's chaos.
Yeah. Yes.
It's absolute chaos. It's that constant questioning. It's that feeling of, I know that there's more that I can do, but I'm not sure that I'm doing the right thing. I don't know if I am utilizing my team in the way that best serves me and our mission. And I just need some help. My clients tend to come with this need to vent, right? To say, oh my God, this is everything that is not going right and not going well. This is my vision. This is my desire, right? And this is how I started. Here's what's going on. And now I need some help and direction in getting back on track.
Yeah, I heard something the other day of a couple months ago, and it was really great. It was, when you're jealous of someone else, it's because the thing that they have is something that's possible for you. And it just really was like, it kind of turns that perspective of jealousy into actually it's desire, and desire is a place of empowerment versus a place of jealousy, which is a place of lack. Right. So what are some things that you're seeing people kind of doing that keeps them in that place of lack versus being in that empowered state of desire?
I'd say it's really maintaining a space of indecision and non-action. People are really content to lean into their routine of what they have been doing in hopes that it will just get better or change, or maybe it'll just click with this employee because I've said in this maybe passive aggressive way that, we want this, or we need to be focusing on something, but nothing is actually changing. There's no action that's becoming different toward the goal. So identifying what your goals are is really important. And before I even dig into goals with clients, the first thing that we do is talk about core values. What's important to you? And a lot of times we find that the action is not aligned with the core values that the client is expressing. And if you have a disconnect there's your problem.
There's that chaos. That's where it thrives. Things thrive and they feed off of certain things. And I feel like dissonance and chaos is what helps, create that perfect incubator for people to be miserable and unhappy in their life.
Mhm.
Instead of saying, oh, you know what, I'm going to stop feeding this thing with my actions and start feeding something else because that's the thing that I want. Um, how often is getting really clear, and like, I know you love you some Simon Sinek. Um, people kind of go like, why, it's like, it's cool, but like, how important is it to actually be really connected to that personal why?
Mm. It's the driving factor for
Mm.
most people. So
So like
what
really important.
extremely important. So what happens is um, conflict arises when we have a desire within ourselves that does not equal the action that's being taken. And if
Mm,
that is where you are living, you're going to be in a state of constant stress and conflict. Um, and then nothing works out because you're imbalanced.
mm.
You're not aligned. You're off track. It's like trying to move that closet door open and close. If it comes off track, it's
Yeah.
not going anywhere. It's still
As much as
there.
you're pushing it and you're breaking it more, right? Instead of
Yeah.
being brute about it. Uh,
It's still that same solid structure. It's
yeah.
still there. It's still very usable and viable. It's
Mm,
just not on the track that it needs to be on. And so aligning your core values to your goals, your mission, your vision, asking yourself, okay, what do we value together as a business or as a team? One of mine is healthy work life balance,
mm,
right? So that means I can get my work done and make the money that I need to support my family and show up and be able to enjoy my family. I get
mm.
to put them first and still serve my clients, right? So that is a core value of mine. If I'm not doing that, business doesn't work and neither does family.
Well, it's not an attractive vibration, right? So like if you're running around and you're just like, oh my God, like everything is breaking and da da da. One, how does that impact your employees? Right. And how does that impact the conversations that you have with your clients? Because right, you're putting all your attention on the chaos and you're not actually able to put the good attention towards your clients, because we all know we carry that energy right into the different conversations and how we show up in the world.
Absolutely. When the door is on the track, it glides with ease.
Mm,
We don't have to push at it. And if you find that you are pushing and pushing, we need to look at where we're misaligned. That can be in the way that we are expressing or giving directives to our team
mm,
or even ourselves.
mm.
Um, and that can also mean having teammates or employees that are in positions that aren't really great for them.
Right.
They're still great people and have a lot to contribute, but understanding what drives your team, the people that support you, is what's going to make the most difference for you as a leader in your business,
Mm.
because you're then able to showcase that you know how to lead, you know how to get the best out of your people, and you know how to appreciate them for their efforts. And that is the kind of transformation that happens when you are aligned.
Absolutely. So, how often do you see? 'Cause I see this all the time, but what's your advice, I guess, when people are there's the outside influence and the internal influence, right? So, there's the internal chaos and then there's the external chaos. And, at the time of this recording, there is a lot going on right now with the coronavirus. And so, there's a lot of external chaos that is beyond what we as an individual can control, right? So what's your advice for people dealing with the chaotic energies and the chaotic vibrations that are going out, that are happening out in the world right now, that aren't within our realm of control?
My advice is to pause. It's pause, it's breathe, it's go
Hmm.
go under a rock if you need to, right? Remove yourself from that chaotic space so that
Mm,
you can ground, so that you can get a sense of yourself and your own well-being. We have to come from a place of well-being and peace in order to share that. And as leaders in business, our staff, our employees, our teammates look to us for that guidance. It's just like having a child that looks to you, they fall on their bottom and their
Are you freaking out? And then they
based
cry
on your
harder.
reaction. Right. If you freak out, and, oh my God, are you okay? The baby's going to be like, oh my God, I don't know. And so
Am I not okay?
cry.
You're telling me I'm not okay right now.
Exactly. As opposed to saying, oh, you fell on your bottom. Okay, let's get up. Let's keep walking. You're okay. Right. And so, but you want to do that honestly. And we can tell the truth in that too. It's not just going around blindly and saying everything's okay, everything's okay. It's like that dog meme, right? The house is on fire. This is okay. This is okay. It's not okay. And if it's not okay, it needs to be addressed. It needs to be addressed appropriately. And you can do that even with your staff and team. You can say, hey, we've got a problem here. Let's come together and figure this out. What do you love about your work? What do you love doing here? Where do you feel like you contribute the most? What are some strengths of yours that are not being utilized? And then figuring out how can we fit those pieces in the puzzle to get back on track.
Yes. Well, I talk a lot about leading from the front, especially when it comes to being, entrepreneur and owning your business and leading by, which for me means leading by example and showing people the kind of behavior that you want to exemplify. So that really seems to align to that concept of, kind of taking that moment for yourself, because a lot of people tend to just kind of roll into the next thing. So one, they don't celebrate any kind of accomplishments, but two, it's just kind of like they do one thing and they roll into the next, and they tend to steamroll people in the process, and steamroll their people, their support system even, right? Like how many of us have gotten really frustrated with something, maybe a client, maybe something at work, maybe an employee, and then our husband, our spouse, our children even have been the victims of that negative energy. So, and you talked a lot about that, right? Like, let's not do that. But we've all done it. Like, let's just be real. Like it's happened to, not a belt taking off beating situation, but there's ways of grounding. And I know you can take a deep breath. I know you can go and, put your feet in the grass, but what are some other ways that people can kind of quickly recenter, reground so that they're not showing up as the version of themselves that they don't like?
Some really great ways to ground, like you said, going for a walk, being out in nature, drinking room temperature water.
So why room
Right?
temperature?
Room temperature. It's grounding. Hot tea and things like that. Actually taking a moment for yourself to recenter. So at first I said pause, right? The first thing I'd say to do is pause, breathe, and assess and remind yourself, I am okay. I am whole. I have all of my faculties. I'm able to move. I am physically okay. When our bodies are thrown into stress mode, we kind of look for all of these problems and issues, and our minds go out here. We need to bring it back in and say, I'm okay. Exercise is a wonderful way to do that. Picking up the phone and leaning into your own supports and saying, hey, my head's kind of right here right now, and I just need you to bring me back. Maybe I just need to vent. But most importantly, I would say doing something that feels really good. Whether that is stopping for a 5-minute dance break to reset your energy. If you like to take naps, taking a quick 27-minute nap during the day is absolutely refreshing, that power boost for yourself. Making something, if you are a creative person, singing, dancing,
Coloring,
playing music, take yourself out of the element of chaos and into a space that brings you joy. Going into that joyful space will remind you of why you are doing this work, why it's so valuable to take time out of your day and away from your family to do this work that serves others, that gives great results for others, or just provides in general.
Yeah. So how does how you show up in the world affect your revenues, your business revenues, your, your money, opportunities, and even, maybe your mindset?
Hmm. Well, how you show up in the world has a huge effect on that,
Mm,
right? Um, if you are not a confident person and you're showing up and you're saying, I've got this idea that maybe could work for you, and I really think you should try it. It might be good, but you don't have to, right? If you're lacking that sense of confidence,
mm,
you are relinquishing your ability to lead, to influence and build strong relationships. You can have $1 million idea and other people will know it, but they won't be willing to accept it from you if you don't believe it yourself.
mm,
So having that sense of self-belief when you show up is really important. Again, goes back to make sure you're doing things that feel really good. If you need to take a nap and have an orgasm before your next business call, do it so that you can show up bright-eyed and rosy-cheeked and full of energy to be able to deliver.
Yep. No, I totally get that. Confidence for me it's the cornerstone of any kind of process, the sales process, engagement, just that energetic exchange of when you're not, I mean, it comes down to your energy, right? When you're not in a place of confidence, you're in a place where you're low energetically. And when you're there, you tend to slip into victim mode sometimes, and you start being an energy vampire, right? You take from other
Mm,
people to kind of replenish, but you can never really replenish because you're always depending on other people.
absolutely.
So how can people get into that, like, self-replenishing mode, modality, versus having to be dependent on other people to maybe validate them? Like, we've seen that in corporate America, where people aren't really getting promoted because they're always needing that validation from other people, or they're not getting the things that they need done because they're not getting that input from other people, right? That energy being sent to them versus being able to be self-sufficient.
Absolutely. So this takes me to two places where it's one, absolutely be yourself and be
Mm,
your most authentic self, right? That's how you want to show up in your business because you are going to attract your people. There are 5 million marketers out there,
yep.
right? Doing some form of marketing. But the people that are attracted to their marketing people is because they are offering something that's different, that's unique, and that speaks to that specific client.
Mm,
You want to have your niche audience. You want to know who that is. You want to take your experience and passion and actually project that so that you can connect with your people. That in itself is energizing and
mm,
replenishing
yeah.
because you are again aligned with your people. When you are serving someone that's not on your wavelength, it's going to be draining and
Yeah.
you're going to need to get yourself out of there. So identify who it is that you really want
Mm,
to be working with because that is what's going to nourish you. And then lean into your supports.
mm,
We are not an island. And we need to learn, as my energy coach, the lovely Sensei Victoria Whitfield says, we need to go from me to we. You
mhm.
have to stop doing things on your own, holding on to it and just trying to bang it out yourself because it's easier than telling someone else how to do it, or they may not get it right, or you're just not sure about it. We have to release some of that ownership and responsibility
Yeah.
to
Well,
those.
that martyrdom, almost, for some people, it's, I've got to do it myself, because if I don't do it myself, then I'm not strong. And that is for me, it's a self-sabotaging mechanism.
Mhm. And
Um,
there's strength in numbers. That's what we're taught. And two minds or two heads are better than one. Being clear about your needs and your expectations is key to having a really
mm,
solid partnership where you're both getting what you need out of the work that you're doing. So, leaning into the supports and the network that you've created for yourself. If you do not have one, get one. Find your people. Okay.
well, speaking of, you've created a Facebook group that is, ready for people to come in and connect with each other and raise everybody's energetic vibration. What is the name of it? Because I didn't get that yet.
Okay, well, you're right. I just recently, out of this national or this global health crisis,
Mm,
with so many workers and parents, executives suddenly working from home, suddenly at home, and many people finding themselves without a job.
mm,
We recognize that there are so many skill sets out there that are not being utilized, so many abilities that people have that they have a desire to share that
mm.
can help entrepreneurs, small businesses, huge businesses, right? And so um, the word craft, right, actually means being very skilled at something, right? Um, and because we each have our talents that we can contribute, I've created a group called Crafted Connections.
Mm,
And it is literally just to bring together those who are budding entrepreneurs, budding mompreneurs, and those who find themselves in need of professional guidance or help to pair them together in a unique environment. That environment is key to all things, right?
well, and
There's
keeping
so
it
many.
positive and not just, full of stuff, right? But feeling that positive, progressive train.
Yes, in an encouraging
Yeah.
environment. So there are many groups that put people together or have different resources, and we see a lot of self-promoting and posts and, buy this thing and join this pyramid. But this is specifically, this is specifically to unite those with a skill and something to offer. Some people that come from heart-centered, mission-based businesses,
Hmm.
those who have their core values and goals and mission and vision that set on helping us all to improve with those that need it. And I'm super excited. I've always been a connector. I love introducing people to
You
people.
do.
I tend to attract a lot of people. So
Yep.
I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have all the energy for this, but let me put you two
Yeah,
together.
y'all can go and energize
You
over
guys
there.
can
Just
have
don't throw it
fun.
my way.
Because Dana still needs a healthy work-life balance, right?
Hashtag
And I want
values.
to be able to go home and have enough energy to enjoy my children at the end of the day, or cook a delicious meal and watch their faces as they gobble it down, right?
So, what's your advice for people who want that more? Right. So there's people out there that are just, in the hustle mode, or they're just, they're working, 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 or they're in the chaotic vibration and they just aren't getting out of it for whatever reason. What would you say for your best advice to be for people who want to have more of a life like you, where you are enjoying your children, that you're present when you're with them, you're present with your clients when you're with your clients, and kind of really achieving more of that balanced life?
Mm. You have to be honest with yourself, and you have to set goals and core values around what is really true to you.
Mm,
For me, like I said, I love my children, my family. It's always been something that I've wanted, so it's a non-negotiable. It never even comes into question. But I
mm,
also love my work and my business, right? And so I have to be honest about that. I have to say, hey, mommy needs time to work,
mm.
right? I have a call at this time and I make it a priority. So if you're saying that you really want something, you then need to make it a priority in your life. You need to carve out time for it, time to do it, time to research it, time to experience it, whatever it is,
Mm.
it needs to become a non-negotiable.
Yes. Awesome. So, guys, I want you guys to make sure the crafting connections, is that
Crafted connection
crafted connections? Make
on
sure you go check
Facebook.
that out. Dana Moore, what's your website so that people can go and check out more about you?
So you can go to Inspired Lightwork. That's www.inspiredlightwork.com to learn more about me, see and learn what my clients love about me. And if you are in a space where you are building out your business and you know that you need more support, focus, and leadership around that, you can check me out at csuiteconsults.com. C-suite.com. A lot of people say, what's C-suite? Well, those are the chief executive positions, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
chief operating officer, your chief executive officer. And none of those people got to where they are in those C-suite positions without having support. And so at C-Suite Consults, we provide that support to help you implement the systems and structures that you need for growth.
Woo! It is absolutely necessary. We are not, no man is an island, right? We are not here to do things by ourselves. We need community and support. So make sure y'all go check out Dana and support her. She's got some amazing value and amazing people in her group. And make sure you check out the show notes to see how to get in contact with her. Dana, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Kat. Great to meet you, friends. I can't wait to see you on the other side.